using technologies which are not yet invented. And that is why this lifelong learning becomes absolutely essential. And that is what we are going to talk about in this particular session. We have various types of technologies which are required for evolving or developing a digital ecosystem. And few of those salient aspects I'm talking about. You require digital infrastructure means digital devices, be it computers, laptops, iPads, smartphones. They are one set of things. The other set of things are the servers, the cloud, where information is stored, which is going to be collected. And most important, communication technologies, satellite communication, as well as uninterrupted fiber connectivity is very important if we have to really create a robust digital ecosystem. Then we require a variety of software. Its purpose may be different for different activities. For example, for governance, we require in every university, college, or state an enterprise-level resource planning system, ERP system. This takes care of the governance issues. For activities like teaching learning processes, we require learning management system, which is also very important. But having got a learning management system, having got servers, having got an ERP system, the most important part is the content creation. You know, the content which is going to be created also requires digital know-how. The content which is going to be much more interesting, much more captivating, which will create interest amongst the stakeholders, most important students. This is what is required. Then we require a lot of additional information to be provided to the students in addition to what is going to be handled in a classroom environment, be it online or in a physical space. And therefore, a lot of material is to be created in a digitized form, which is accessible to anyone. And therefore, digitization, knowledge depository, maybe systems like Wikipedia, and robust search engines which will give you information on the topic of your choice at a single stroke. Now, this is what is going to be very, very significant. We also have a new era in the beginning of the 21st century when the internet developed faster and faster, speeds increased. We have massive online open courses came in. The initial starting was, in fact, 2008, but the robust MOOC systems which came in were in the year of 2011, when large number of students across the globe started taking courses on the MOOC platforms like MIT's edX or Coursera and many others which came into existence. So we have a MOOC as one more area for digital ecosystem. Then there are a variety of digital apps, be it on iOS or be it on Android. We see young graduating students, they are creating the apps. And these apps are for empowerment in the digital sense, be it maybe starting from simple things like making reservations for air ticket or railways, etc. on one side, making applications for, filling applications for admissions to the universities, examination systems. After the results are announced, there are counseling systems. There are apps for doing counseling. Counseling where students will have a choice of filling which areas he wants to undertake. We also have various applications for learning by the students through edutech startups. We have applications for healthcare products, agriculture, transportation, logistics, and you name it, there are lots of apps which have come in. And all of these digital apps become part and parcel of the digital ecosystem. We have new ways of teaching learning processes which are required to be inculcated in our right from school education to higher education. And we talk about a sector called AVGC, audio, visual, gaming, and comics. The young students from the school age, they like comics. And how you make study of physics or mathematics more exciting through the use of comics is very, very important. And making use of this AVGC, we will be in a position to create interesting content for our children to learn languages. our Honorable Minister in the earlier session gave good morning messages in all the languages. How children can just learn all of those and then start, whenever they go and visit some people from other nationality, they will be able to greet and talk to them in that language. This is a very important, empowering thing which is very, very significant. I'm thinking of other areas like augmented reality, virtual reality, extended reality, metaverse. These are all possibilities of the entire digital ecosystem which can really take care of our students in terms of their better learning outcomes. We had all of these for governance in a way in every unit available from the late 20th century, the last 1 or 2 decades, some of them. But most important, most of these technologies became more vibrant, more useful, more available in the beginning of the 21st century. Maybe 2010, 2015, we were all grappling with that. And then there was a pandemic. And although we were using those technologies somewhere here and there, entire world was forced to adopt to the digital technologies in order to continue education. And India was no different from any other part of the world. And some of the countries had delayed sessions, but nevertheless, education continued in the last 2.5 years when there was pandemic. So having learned lessons that through digital means, through online mode, education can be imparted, maybe not as effectively as that of a physical space, but nevertheless, it does serve the purpose. And in fact, there were some added and very clear advantages in the digital platform or the online platform, which did not exist in a physical classroom environment. For example, a student in a very remote area in any country of the world does not have access to the best faculty of the world in that location in a physical space. But nevertheless, that student from a remote place in Africa or in Arunachal Pradesh in India or anywhere else has an access to the best professors of the world in terms of what we often call as anytime learning, anywhere learning, any device learning, and from any best professor learning. This is all possible, and this we learned, and therefore, post-pandemic, how do we integrate all of this in our systems, be it in the form of flipped classroom or any variant of that is what is going to be possible, and that's why our digital ecosystem is required to be created in a very robust fashion. And there are multiple use cases as well. Well, we may have all the digital ecosystem in place, but still usage may be limited or much less in many countries of the world because of lack of awareness. And therefore, making it visible, which are the best courses available in the world, who are the best professors available in that particular domain of knowledge where a student is interested. To create this visibility is also very important, and therefore, to make it effective utilization, this is one very important parameter. We have admission tests. A student can write admission test of a best university by sitting at his hometown rather than struggling to go to a city and then write the examination. We have robust ERP systems which will take care of good governance. I have already talked about course content creation, delivery systems. Then there are also issues like a student who is not able to afford the education. There are lots of fee waiver schemes or scholarship schemes. Through a digital means, a student will be in a position to become aware of it and then apply and then earn that, and thereby education of a person who is otherwise not possible to go to a city and take education is also possible. Career counseling, examination system, which is also possibly online examination, is what is required to be done in a digital platform, digital ecosystem. And then we also talked in the morning about the future of work. And since the technologies are changing, the nature of work is changing, there are 13 different areas which were reflected in the morning, but there are hundreds of them. Each one of them, they are possible that earlier workforce may be displaced and a new workforce has to come in the future of work. And that's why it is skilling for the right skills at that point in time. And if you are already in the job, how do you upskill? How do you reskill? These issues become important, and a student who has already graduated and in the workforce may not be able to go back to an education system unless it is in the form of a digital ecosystem through which he will be or she will be in a position to earn those certifications, micro-credentials, or degrees of the future, thereby the empowerment continues. We have in India a few examples of digital ecosystem which is other than the educational ecosystem as well. For example, unique ID for every citizen of the country through Aadhaar, BharatNet project to have infiltration of robust connectivity to nooks and corners of the country. Today, out of 600,000 plus villages, 250,000 odd villages, means about 40% of the villages are connected with robust connectivity. The remaining work is in progress. There is a digital locker system where identity of the individual to the credentials can be stored through academic bank of credits, which I will again come back a little later. E-education, e-health. When the vaccination was done, immediately after the vaccination, through a COVID app, the certificate was issued to the candidate, whoever is taking the vaccination. So a robust Digital India initiative and digital ecosystem which is evolved has multiple use cases from healthcare, agriculture, transportation to education. Now we have various types of systems which exist for a school system. Yes, for a school system, we have digital smart classrooms in most of the schools wherever possible. Not all classes, but certainly that is an area which has to be addressed. Digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, a platform called Diksha, which has been developed in school education sector, which is very important, where more than about 600 million students are taking various types of courses. We have a very robust system for teacher education. There is an architecture which is developed called National Digital Education Architecture, through which there is a in and out of how education can be imparted. The basic philosophy structure is developed. India 2 architecture, which also promotes education in digital ecosystems, that has been developed. There are Vidyadan portal where voluntary work for giving education to those who are needed is possible. E-textbooks are available on the platform. Pragya guidelines for digital education, Shiksha Vani, teacher training programs. I think I can go on. In one of the important sectors, which is the school sector, from class 1 to 12, these initiatives have empowered our students from nooks and corners of the country. We have, when you come to higher education, there are further many things which started way back, maybe in the early 2000s. Some of them continued, and today we have huge number of processes as well as the applications which are available, starting with what we call National Knowledge Network, 1 Gbps connectivity to almost all the educational institutions in the country. Thereby they can have access to all this information and wisdom and knowledge. We have National Mission on Education Technology, NME-ICT, wherein we started with NPTEL, video lectures of engineering faculty. There are more than about 4,000 of them available. Entire course, 4,000 courses available there, which we added on with virtual labs. Many institutions do not have access to excellent equipment, and therefore how simulation-based experiments can be conducted, how visualization of experiments can be made, how even remote-controlled laboratories can be established, and an institution in a remote area can access the equipment of the best of the institutions in order to conduct the experiment and learn practice. These are all possibilities which we have already done. Then we had our own indigenous MOOC, which was created in 2016-17, wherein now today we have more than 30 million students, some of them from even many countries of the world. They are using these courses, which number more than 3,500. And we are allowing students to take courses from here, write the examination, earn the credits, and transfer these credits into their transcript of their respective university. So this is a great empowering tool which has been there existing. We also have Swayam Prabha direct-to-home channel, which we had 33 channels. We are expanding to more than 260 channels now. Thereby, right from school education, class 1 to class 12, and as well as the higher education sector will be catered through these channels. And not just in English, but in almost all the Indian languages, so that we will make participation of people from different backgrounds, different languages, different cultures also to make use of the knowledge which is available in our country. We have a Samarth portal developed by one of the universities, Delhi University, which has a robust ERP system. Many universities are adopting it. It is tweaked depending on the requirement of that university. This is another very important area which has been addressed. We have National Digital Library, which also came into existence way back in 2015. There are as many as nearly 90 million books, documents, journals available, and all of them available free of cost for any student, any institutions of the country to make use of. In fact, anyone from the world can make use of them. We have a robust national scholarship portal. All the students who deserve to get scholarship, the money of the scholarship goes directly into the account of the student through Aadhaar seeded account. And that is why there is no pilferage and student gets on-time scholarship for continuation of the education. We invented a very innovative practice of Smart India Hackathons way back in 2017, and 5 editions have already completed. And what we observed was students are in a position to solve the challenging problems of today. We are talking about future of work. Students are in a position to have out-of-the-box ideas which can be implemented through this kind of and when pandemic came, we conducted hackathon also in a digital fashion, in an online fashion. So it means digital technologies are so superb that we can make use of them in a variety of ways. We also have a portal called NEET, National Educational Alliance for Technologies, where a lot of edutech products, which sometimes make use of artificial intelligence to know the level of understanding of the student in a particular domain and give guidance and train a student in achieving those skill sets which are important for learning, for employability, for entrepreneurship. And that is also an ongoing process from 2018. We also have a national internship portal, which was referred to by the Honorable Minister in the morning, under which any student from any college can join as a registrant, give his choice, interests, and all industries, more than 45,000 odd industries have also posted their internships. The number of students on this portal are more than 120 million, and there are 26 million opportunities which are possible, which will be providing students in terms of giving internship during summer vacation, winter vacation, and they can go beyond that. We also have sharing of resources, which is possible through digital means, a project iSTEM, where some of the institutions of higher education, those who are of institutions of eminence like IITs, Indian Institute of Science, have very expensive equipment which is not accessible otherwise for students from remote small areas, small colleges, tier 2 colleges. Through this portal, they can apply and they can go in the vacations or during the semester time and use those facilities in order to conduct and continue the research activity. In terms of skill education, which is the third vertical after school and higher education, we have this national credit framework which Dr. Kalsi mentioned in the morning, and therefore Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, under which skilling and the credentials of the student are going to be evaluated and posted onto this digital skilling program for 300 million students. When I'm talking about some of the numbers, probably they will be amazing for some countries because their population of the whole country may not be as much as what we are talking about empowering such number of students. National Educational Alliance for Technology, the apprenticeship scheme, both after graduation and degree-embedded program for education, that is also in place. National Credit Framework has excellent flexibility in order to get credits, change from one domain to the other domain. And this is going to be more empowering because many a time student does not know what is the interest of the student, what is the aptitude of the student. After getting into a program, they realize that their interest lies somewhere else and how these credits can be taken forward in another domain. And that's why there is an academic depository called National Academic Depository and Academic Bank of Credits, where all these credits are accumulated and made use of in the future, like in the bank account. We have very important thing is education in mother tongue. India with 22 constitutionally statutory recognized languages and thousands of other languages which are spoken languages. Some of them have script, some of them do not. But how do we provide this education to students? So we have developed an artificial intelligence-based translation tool called Anuvadini, which will help in translating the content, which is good content in English, into all these languages so that students can learn in their own mother tongue. And this is so much empowering to increase the gross enrollment ratio, which is at present juncture at 27% to about 50% in short time. We cannot build universities and colleges infrastructure which is both expensive as well as time consuming, whereas through the digital ecosystem, we will be in a position to reach out to those unreached people, the last man who is in the remotest possible place through digital means, and then provide education in the mother tongue. Student induction program. Our minister had already talked about what we said, the system which we want to inculcate amongst our students. So student induction program, faculty induction program, values, these are all important. We also have a portal called Study in India so that any student from anywhere in the world will be in a position to have an informed choice about institutions, the programs of their interest. And then the most important project which we are now undertaking is the Education Ecosystem Registry. Registry of all students, registry of all faculty members, registry of all educational institutions, registry of all startup companies. Thereby, one can have exchange of credits between one institution to the other, and the student is unique. And because the unique ID, the credentials are going to be validated through the portal as digital signed certificates. So student is not required to carry a paper certificate anytime when one goes for interviews for higher education. They will be exchanged through APIs, and one system and the other system will have shake hand through API and then collect this information very smoothly, and this is a work in progress. We are also talking about online digital university so that in the future a student can take a course by sitting at home rather than going to a physical university, collect the credits from variety of universities which are all in the form of hub and spoke model. The hub is the digital university and all the spokes are various universities in the country. Student can collect the credits, accumulate them in the academic bank of credits, and then encash it as a degree of the particular choice. I think we are working on all of these issues. Some of these things are already in place, some are work in progress. And the most important part, which I would like to mention here, is about the last slide. The digital future, we have already known about various technologies, is going to be ChatGPT, GPT-4, and various variants which have already come in. We will have AI and ML, lot of deep learning, metaverse, not 5G, but 6G technologies. And today morning also it was referred Industry 5 and Education 5, where apart from all the technologies, there will be a lot of emphasis on three important things: the people, the planet, and the processes. These three P's are going to be very important in Industry 5 and Education 5. And therefore, not only humility and compassion, which is a very ingrained thing which is required, is also going to be carried forward through this. So get ready for these future new technologies. And if we have to really be abreast with that, there is no other way than lifelong learning and use of digital technologies. In the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, we as India willing to share digital empowerment through all platforms that I mentioned earlier, Diksha, Swayam, virtual labs, internships, etc. And we would also like to take help from you by collaboration, cooperation, compassion. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Anil D. Sahasrabuddhe, for your very comprehensive presentation on building a digital ecosystem for lifelong learning. May I please invite Sonal Mishra to please join us on stage and felicitate Dr. Sahasrabuddhe. Thank you. With this, we will now move on to what is the first session of today. It is on the theme of building an agile response to the needs of labor markets and institutional capacity